we're going to go ahead and start this program. Would you all like to come and sit? There's a couple of seats randomly through here. It'll be a long program, and then you can see the screen up here. So it's so wonderful to see all of you here, and a lot of new faces, and we're always happy when we bring some new people into the museum so that you can see the work that we actually do, and we like to meet all of you as well. I'm Phyllis Bitner. I'm the chair of the Miners Hall Museum Foundation. I grew up here in Franklin, and we're so excited about the project that we're working on, which is the Page 618 Walking Dragline that we'll be bringing here to Franklin. And you can view our quarterly exhibit back over there in the corner, which we have extended. It is actually a year-long exhibit because we are working on getting the page brought here this year. We don't have a date to announce yet, but if you follow us either on Facebook or if you're a member, you get notifications, and we will give everyone plenty of notice on the date of the move, because so many people have expressed an interest. They want to see it coming down the highway. So it's going to be a challenge just getting it off of the property. If you will notice where it's setting, the road is way up in that corner, the county road. So Wendell Wilkinson, his family donated it, has had to build a 40-foot wide road all the way around, big circle, way around the back, all the way around those pits, just to get to the county road. So it's a challenge. It's not like we'll just throw it on a truck and move it. It's taking quite a bit of planning and organization to get this done. So we are excited that what we are now calling Dragline Park will soon be a reality, which will be down here at what we all know as Gennardi's Corner. It's 47 and 69 Junction, where you turn to go to Girard. There's a Welcome to Franklin sign there, and that is where the dragline will be moved to. It's going to be pretty impressive to be there, and it is the second and the largest walking dragline preserved in the entire United States, and there will only be 4 on the entire North American continent, but ours will be the largest, and it will be the only page. It's a very unique machine. So it's going to be a wonderful tourist site, because now that the 4-lane is coming through here, it's going to attract a lot of attention. People can easily pull off and stop in, have a picnic lunch. We intend to have a pavilion there where people can stop and visit. We are developing a wildflower meadow with the help of Kansas Wildlife. Peyton's Potting Shed is creating a butterfly meadow. So it's really going to be a beautiful corner when we get the dragline there. So we're pretty excited about all of it. And for those of you, we'd like to just point out a few things in case you don't know this. This dragline and this museum, we're located on the historic Jefferson Highway. And it's becoming a pretty big tourist attraction right now. It's comparable to Route 66, which runs east and west. Jefferson Highway runs north and south. And it is called the Pine to Palms Tour, because it started in Canada, ends down in New Orleans. So they are really, they're developing, they have an organization, and they're really promoting that. We are members of that organization. We were just named an official tourist center for the Jefferson Highway Association, so we're pretty proud about that. We'll be able to sell their products in here, and people will stop and learn more about Southeast Kansas. So we're spreading the word about all the other places they can go, where they can eat, where they can see other tourist sites and shop and stay. And also, if anyone doesn't know, we are also located across the street is a national and state historic site. The Franklin to Arma sidewalk is known as the longest sidewalk connecting 2 communities, and it is listed on the National Historic Register. So we're pretty proud of that. And here, I have to get this in here. The Page 618, and I have to read it, I won't remember it all. The Page 618 Dragline Project is funded in part by Kansas Tourism, the Patterson Family Foundation, the John U. Perolo Education Trust, the Coleman Family Foundation, and the Mitchelson Family Foundation. As you can imagine, it's quite expensive to tackle this project, just the move alone, and the disassembly. As they've been disassembling, they're finding damage, so they're doing the repair work as they're taking it apart. They have to use caution in repairing it, because we want it to preserve its integrity, so that we can also get it listed on the National Historic Site, which will just be a great boom for Southeast Kansas for tourism and all that. So as I said, the Wendell Wilkinson family, who had his grandparents had the Wilkinson Coal Company, and he donated this equipment to us. So we're pretty grateful for that they entrusted us with that piece of equipment. and we're honored to be able to preserve and show that unique piece of history. I've just got a couple of thank yous. Our board is very active. We call ourselves a working board, and we are indeed working. So I'd like to, Christy Perry, she's standing back here with her red vest. She is on our board. She's our special events coordinator. So when you have some delicious cookies this afternoon, she made those. And then let's see, Linda Knoll is here. Is she hiding back there? She is also on the board. And she and her husband JT take care of all of our sound equipment and all of this TV stuff and everything. We couldn't do it without them, so we thank both of them. Susan Bester is in here today. You probably all have talked to her at one time or other. She is our office staff, and she's just wonderful. And today we have one of our volunteers, Dolores Wishart. She was your greeter at the door today. So, you know, be sure and say thanks to her again. So that's everything that I have to say, and I'll let JT do the introductions. And I hope you all will learn some great, interesting facts here. And I know I'm going to learn some things. I don't know all of these statistics, so we're glad to have these two guys here. So I'll just turn it over to JT now, and thank you all very much for coming. We appreciate it.
Let's give Phyllis a big hand there. Hello. Thank you for coming out in the heat. How hot is it? Remember Johnny Carson? You say, how hot is it?
How hot is it, Johnny?
It's so hot, on the way home from the store, my iceberg lettuce melted. These are groaners, you know. How hot is it? You gotta try this again.
How hot is it, JT?
It's so hot, the chickens are laying bald eggs. One more time.
How hot is it?
It's so hot. The cows are giving evaporated milk. We have a gift today because we got real workmen who worked on this machine, and so how can you get any better than that, than the real story? We've got a little slideshow we're going to go through, and they can point out some of the areas on the machine and what they work and how they work and how they worked on them. They're also open to raise your hand if you have a comment or a question to do an interactive part, because I know some of you people know something about this, or there's some coal miners here who've worked on mines in different places, so make sure you do that. I'd like to start with each of you just introducing yourself and giving a short little history about your work with the machine, and then we'll go on through questions in the slides.
Okay. My name is Ted Pryor, and I started coal mining right out of high school. In 1970, I started with Mackey Clemens, later went to P&M Coal Company. Spent about 21 years in the coal industry, and when the mine shut down, I started my own company called Jayhawk Construction, which was an excavating company. Early on, talked to Joe Frazier, who was the geologist at Mission Clay, about some work, and as luck would have it, they were looking for someone to take over their mining operation. So I started their mining operation in about 1991, and of course the dragline was an integral part of that operation. So that's how I got started on the dragline.
My name is David Grotheer. I became an employee with Dicky Clay originally. Worked for them for about 10 years. They sold out and were bought up by a company out of California named Mission Clay. And when that happened, I also became maintenance supervisor for the company. Along about this time, that was in '87, I believe Mission Clay purchased this dragline from Wilkinson to continue to strip the overburden down there at this property. We were after the clay that was down underneath this, the layer right before the coal seam that they had taken out. That is how I became acquainted with this machine, and since then spent quite a few hours in that machine. So that's how come I guess I'm sitting here today.
Thank you. I'm going to go through some slides here. This is another very artistic look at the 618. This guy's fishing for the 618. You see he's got the line. I think he's going to hook it. He's having a hard time pulling it in. Here we have, you'll see Wendell and Cody on the left, and on the right is our mover. And Tilton, and he looks like he could move it on his own. He's a big strong guy. But they've got quite a company. They're really good at what they do. This is William and Mary Wilkinson. I've got a little bio since we got some history on them that I want to read just a short bit about. Excuse me, I'm going to find it here. He came from Pelton Fell, England in 1862, where he was already working in coal mines. He started at the age of 10, like a lot of them around here did, 10, 12. He came to Weir City, and then he started his own deep mine south of Fleming in 1917. And they operated in one form or another, the Wilkinson Coal Company, up until 1979. I'm going to keep going here, because there's the truck moving down the line. Tilton moving. Now here's a close-up. I zoomed in a little bit on the drag line, and you fellows might want to talk a little bit about this. You guys anything to say about the boom, the structure, the bucket, or how it works?
Basically, it just, you know, the bucket area here, it's backwards. I mean, the digging face is on the other side. Basically, you just pick the dirt up and throw it over to here. I know they can't.
Okay, I'll point you. Go. You point there. I'll point here.
Okay, so you would pick the dirt up right in front of the machine, which would be in back of it the way it's set, and then it would go over in this pile, and then you would progress till you reach the end of your pit. Then you would mine that clay out.
Now, the bucket doesn't have a line. I see working it. Wasn't there a line that?
There is. You just can't see it. You see it hanging down
It's
here.
probably
Okay.
laying on the ground.
Yeah.
All right. So is there there's like a motor in here
Right.
that rotates inside the cab
Right.
that pulls the bucket.
Right.
Okay. And then when it raises up, then this rotates on wheels.
Dollies.
Dollies.
Dollies on the tub.
Here.
And we'll see those closer in a minute.
Yeah.
They're down here. Now, what's this? Now, here's the foot, right? I mean, the
Shoe, that's called the shoe.
That's the shoe that it walks on. We'll see that close up later.
Right.
What's this here?
That's called a gantry.
And what's the gantry do?
Basically, that's where your overhead cables, as you can see,
This goes up over here.
go all the way to the point, and there is about, that goes back and forth about, I don't remember, 4 times maybe.
Uh-huh.
So,
And Paige designed this whole thing. And before we go any further, what's the advantage? You know, we got Big Brutus over there, a wonderful restored shovel. What's the advantage over a drag line over a shovel?
the drag line actually sets on top and digs the hole below itself. Shovel sets in the hole and digs above.
So you don't have to go down in the hole.
Right, the drag line is safer from water, floods, so on and so forth.
Yeah, so
I mean, they both have their-
how far down can this drag line go?
We were going 35 foot.
Yeah,
35 to the coal seam?
Yeah,
Okay. Can they go farther than
Oh,
that?
yeah.
Yeah.
The problem you run into is you have trouble getting your dirt away from you far enough when you're spoiling your dirt, throwing your dirt away.
Uh-huh.
The deeper you go, the more dirt you
The more
have.
dirt you
The
got.
pile gets too
Okay.
big and
All right. Any questions about this out there? There's a question.
How thick was the clay seam?
about 4 foot.
4 foot.
You're talking the
But you
coal
have-
or the clay?
No,
Clay.
clay.
Just the clay.
Yeah.
Now, the clay's below the coal.
But the coal had already been taken out by
Yeah.
Wilkinson.
Okay.
The Wilkinson coal
So you
company.
guys are just digging clay?
Right,
Okay.
right. The plus side of that, there was no rock, no hard shell, no nothing. I mean, everything's already been mined once, and it's, the bad part is when you disturb all of that and put it back in the pile, water runs through it.
Ah,
So as you can see, there's a lot of water involved down here. And we pumped, when we started mining, we pumped daily, 24 hours a day for maybe 3 months.
and you're talking seepage of water, not water falling from the thing.
Right, seepage,
Okay.
seepage.
So that was the hard part, keeping the water.
That was a nightmare, yeah.
Now, were you digging that and piling it up and then people were loading it on the side or?
Well, the trucks actually went down in the pit.
Oh, they went to the.
Yeah, and that's what caused me so much grief, because I had to have the water out of the pit. I mean, the trucks can't go in water, so.
So the trucks, this would have no water and there'd be a truck down there.
Right, well, like I say, the actual pit is here.
Okay,
This is the spoil, and this is just where we had
so
dug
that's
the
overlaid,
previous. Yeah,
sitting there, okay.
yeah. So, yeah, I spent a lot of time at this pit. So,
That's a drawing that I found online that kind of shows you how it works.
yeah,
With the line that goes out, pulls the cable back.
So that pit was the last job of this shovel,
right,
and you were there on the last day of the
Right.
operation of the shovel.
right. I put her to bed, you could say.
Could you back up once on that? Does anybody know why it is called a 618?
6 yard.
6-yard bucket on
18 inch.
an 18-foot tub.
Okay, okay.
You see? So when we talk about a 618, it refers to the size of the machine.
How many yards could the bucket, or how did they gauge how much the bucket, did they talk in yards?
Yeah,
Six-
six yards,
cubic
six
yards.
which is about 9 tons.
9
roughly.
ton, it could pick up 9 tons.
Yeah.
Okay.
By comparison, Big Brutus hauls
90.
95?
90
90 yards.
90 yards.
So it'll be 135 ton or so.
Now, this is just we call these ghost signs. If you look around town in Pittsburgh, you see AJ Kripe or
Yeah.
different signs in Pittsburgh or even local towns and old buildings. This is a ghost sign of Page on the side. If you can read there, up the, is that the boom?
That's the gantry.
Gantry, up the gantry, it says that the PAGE, it's a little embedded in there. You can't read it as well.
Teddy, were there different types of clay?
Yeah, we normally use 4 different types of clay to make pipe, but the fire clay was just the one type at this pit.
So that machine just mined the
Fire
fire
clay.
clay?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
The other clay comes from different areas?
right, right.
But that was a necessity. We needed that clay
Yeah, you had to have that clay.
The fire
Why,
clay
why is that?
to give it elasticity. So when they mixed it, blended it, extruded it, that it would hold its shape during firing and also have some rigidity to it so it's strong.
Now, I used to work at Pittsburgh Pottery. Is fire clay the same kind of clay that we were using?
Fire
there?
clay was ground to a powder and typically fired twice, where our clay pipe was only fired once.
Okay. So I know Wilkinson's used to bring truckloads of clay to Pittsburgh Pottery
Uh-huh.
and dump it. So, okay. This is, what, identifying, I don't know what they call this.
Right, yeah.
It just, if you can't see it, it says Page Engineering Manufacturer, Chicago, USA, machine number 193, class, I can't see that.
618.
Class 18. And under here, what do we have here, these?
Okay, these are the dollies. This is what it rotates on.
They call them dollies, they're little wheels?
Yeah, they're about 8 inch or so. We actually had all of these out at one time, and all of these, this rail here, we replaced all that, had it all made new.
They all have to be replaced.
These were rebuilt.
Oh, okay.
Hume Welding in Hume, Missouri, rebuilt those. They had a
Rebuilt.
machine that welded them up, basically
Now-
built them up.
Another thing of replacement, did you have to replace the bucket, or did they have to sharpen it? Did they have to?
No, we rebuild it occasionally, or you'd have a crack, or put a hard
Okay.
surface on it, or something to that, but that wasn't a big deal.
Okay.
like I say, this material was all relatively soft, so.
Do you have a welder out there every day? Was there a welder on
No.
site all the time there?
Well, there was a welding truck probably down there ready
Yeah,
to wait.
yeah, ready to, but we actually didn't rebuild the bucket a lot. I mean,
Not as much as some of the other.
you know, some mines, if you were digging a lot of sand rock or something like that, then you got a lot of bucket wear, but this wasn't so bad.
This is a sketch that Jamie Oliver from Pitt State made about it sitting out here on its new site. Early sketch that he made. There's the early sketch that he made. There's a combination of the Page Engineering Company and the Miners Hall Museum logo. This is Mr. Page. I'll read a little bit about him. He was quite a guy. He founded his firm in 1912. He was the first graduating class of engineers from the University of Illinois in 1892. And he used his, after he founded the dragline, or invented the dragline, he used it on the Hennepin Canal and the Chicago Canal. They put it right into use. He also produced his own diesel engine. They made their own engine to run on the dragline. And he invented something called the arch dragline bucket. You know what that is?
Archless, probably.
Yeah. What does that mean?
I've never been around an archless bucket, but if you had a picture up there, I could show you what the arch is.
You know, maybe we'll come across it
Yeah.
in a bit. I don't know if we have one right now, but they pioneered the archless bucket, and then other companies took that on as well. And in the end, I think they were just basically making buckets because you know they could sell them to everybody, and then they were bought out. My German pronouncing friend, Herr Bockelmann, they were bought out by Hansfeger Company, had to be German, makers of renowned P&H line of shovels, drag lines, and cranes. So they were bought out later. But he was quite a guy. And coming up with this new invention was quite, it really changed the industry and how they dig, because if you go online and put in 618 dragline or just dragline, you'll find a lot of great videos of these. We were talking about, there's one in Ohio, or was, called Big Muskie. There was, you know, like Big Brutus in a dragline that's no longer going, that they didn't restore or keep. They kind of took it apart and kept pieces. But it's really interesting. They can dredge water line, go into rivers and dredge, and they do a lot of things with it.
So how was this task done before there was such a thing as a drag line?
Mostly around here, steam shovels.
So it's used shovel by shovel by shovel instead of dragging.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is a Page cousin named Daniel Kane who was demonstrating it, and I'm guessing they had, like, he's got a little bucket there. He probably went around, like back in the day they had salesmen. You know, you went to the companies, the coal companies or digging companies, and said, here's how it works and what we can do for you, and here's how it's different. Here's another shot. I don't know if you guys have any comment on that.
Not really.
Okay. There's the, we call that the shoe, the foot.
Shoes, yeah.
Now tell us a little bit about how that worked. How did it move it?
I get that question more than anything. How does a dragline walk?
Yeah.
So this shaft right here, you can see this shaft?
Here's my pointer. This
There you go.
shaft.
Right? Okay, that is like a crank. As that shaft turns,
Let me have your pointer.
as that shaft
You
turns,
can make it longer.
it picks that shoe up, places it back, sets it down.
So it
raises the
rotates.
machine
This
up.
is on a concentric
Yeah.
that walks, and so when this runs around, it picks this shoe up and places it on the ground back here. And as it continues around, it picks the back end of the drag line up, drags the tub, and sets itself back down about, what did it move?
4 foot, I think. 4 or 5
A little
feet.
more than that.
4 or 5,
6 foot.
whatever, maybe 6.
So you would move about 6 foot
per step.
a step.
Now, is this circle in the middle that you point at, is it complete circle or is it shaped like an oval?
No,
No,
it's
it's
a
a circle.
complete circle.
But the crank
It's
is on the
just-
inside.
it's
Is there an oval in there someplace?
It's just a throw on a crank is what it is.
Yeah, it's just a crank.
And it only walks backwards.
Right.
And to go a different direction, you turn the bucket and go that direction.
If-
So you're always going backwards.
If you could sit on the floor, on your rear, put your hands down and lift yourself up and scoot backwards, that's pretty close
It's
to
a
what it does.
it's a 3-point.
Pretty close to what it does.
It's a scooter.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
How fast does it move? Is it 1 mile an hour, 10 feet an hour?
Oh, I don't know. You can walk way faster than it moves.
Feet in an hour.
How much?
Feet in an hour.
Yeah, you can walk
Not
faster.
miles an hour.
Feet per hour, yeah.
Feet an hour. All right.
Hey, I got a good pump story to tell you before we go on.
Go ahead, tell them.
My son Joe was working for me. He was doing college and he worked in the summer, and I think I actually worked the summer after high school. And I fed him all the crappy stuff I could because I really wanted to make sure he went to college and got an education. So we went to this Wilkinson pit one morning, bright and early, and it's been a big storm down there that night. We didn't know it. Wilkinson pit is like 15 miles south of Pittsburgh, and I live over by Mulberry. So we pull in and the pump's underwater. So we're standing there and I looked at him and I said, one of us is gonna have to go in and hook a chain on that pump. He didn't say a word, he just started taking his clothes off. In the water he went.
Get it out of there?
Yeah, we got it out. We got it out. And he did go to college, so.
And that might have done it.
It helped, I'm sure. He actually ran a loader for us one year and loaded the clay, and
Now we're not moving. What's going on there?
I didn't do anything
I
this
know
time.
you did.
Daddy, how would you turn the machine?
It just turns like you were slinging it.
Rotate
little
on the
wheels.
tub.
Just like a, yeah.
Those little wheels are a turntable.
These
It's not a turntable.
these shoes turn when you swing. Every time you swing, those shoes turn with you. So wherever you
The whole thing is a
stop
turntable.
and propel, that's the way it goes.
It's not even going manually.
You have to open the PowerPoint.
Say that again.
You have to open PowerPoint.
Come help me, dear.
Yeah, help us.
Come help me. There we are. Anytime you want to help, come on up. I used to work at the college, and it's like about 5 minutes of trying to figure something out. Call a student. I got this. All right, anything here? There's another look at it, I guess.
Yeah, you can see some of the overhead cables here. And these two smaller cables right here.
Let me get you. These two smaller cables where? Right
Yeah,
here?
those are actually on a shock absorber.
These?
Yeah, and they go back to a pulley, and that's supposed to be an air shock.
Right in
And,
here?
yeah, like when you run your bucket out and dump it, sometimes it makes things move, and that
It
helps.
keeps
too.
it from
Keeps the bounce
Yeah,
out
it
of
helps
the
to absorb some of the shock.
shock absorber.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. There's another look. I bet it got hot this time of day about the middle of July there, didn't it?
It was hot.
It was hot, but it wasn't as bad as you think.
Really? Did they have
There's a window here,
have a
one
fan?
here, and one on the other side. Yeah, we had a
You had a fan?
12-inch manual
12-inch
air
fan,
conditioner. Usually a breeze, so I mean, it was hot, but it wasn't horrible. But yeah, this is the cab where their operator sits, and you look right through this opening here. I didn't even know it was boarded up. But
Now, tell me, what kind of controls did you run? What did you have? Did you have foot, feet? You have hands? What did you-
Both, both. Your left hand controls the swing.
Uh-huh.
There's a lever sticks up, you pull it towards you, swing left, push it away, you swing right. Then on your right hand, there is a small lever. If you push that forward, the bucket hoisted. If you pulled that towards you, the drag came towards you.
So that's
Now
pretty
that
simple.
sounds pretty simple, but when you kick, like if you had it on hoist, when you kick that to neutral, that bucket will just fall. So you got a foot brake.
So you gotta,
So you had to hold it with a
you gotta
foot brake.
hold it till you get it right.
Yeah, and then you would drag in and you would pedal out slack, because as the bucket gets closer, it wants to go up. You have to pedal out slack so it'll stay where you're at.
Now, this may sound like a silly question, but since I was a kid, with those little things in the sand pile and all that. I've
Yeah.
always wanted to run something like that. Was it fun any days? Like, you know, this is kind of fun? Was
Not
it
that
just-
I noticed. No, it was kind of neat for a while, but it was like anything else you do.
Get used to it.
Yeah, and it becomes a job.
It took quite a bit of eye-hand coordination to do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
So-
really? Yeah, you had to be knowing what you're doing, don't you? And the foot feet, what was going on down there again?
That was there was two brakes. The right brake was your hoist brake, which controlled the hoist cable, and the left brake was the drag brake, which controlled the drag brake. So whatever, if you were hoisting, you had to have the drag brake on. You had to use the drag brake. If you were dragging, you had to use the hoist brake.
It's more,
It's kind of like, the newer machines are full power, so they're all electric. They're basically like a car with an automatic transmission versus this is like a car with a standard
this
transmission.
is a three on the tree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically,
Okay.
yeah.
I got you. This is another look at it. I don't know if we got anything. This is the back end. Didn't they have a counterweight or
Yeah,
something?
this
on
is
it?
the counterweight
That
right
is the
here.
counterweight.
And that's mostly concrete, I think, but there is some steel in it.
And how, do you have any idea how much counterweight?
I don't.
The engineer had the engineered perfect, so
Yeah.
you couldn't make it fall out.
Well, even the whole floor was poured with
Yeah,
concrete.
yeah, there was a lot of.
So there was a lot of weight.
So they're hauling a lot of weight from
On
here
the back.
Oh,
from
yeah.
back
Cherokee
half of that.
County.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a Dave Wallace right here taking the pictures, took that picture. Easy Dave on YouTube, he covers everything in southeast Kansas.
This
So
is from the
check it out.
gate. They have a cable up there. I couldn't go in, but I managed to see it from there and put the best telephoto lens I had on there
That's a nice picture.
and got
Now,
a
you
shot
might
of it.
Tell them that originally, tell me if I'm wrong, Teddy, originally it had a 110-foot boom on it,
Really? And how long's this one?
and they dropped it. They dropped the boom one
These
time.
ca- these
Somebody
cables-
got-
The
these
support cables
were
broke.
Oh,
We
okay.
didn't, it was
Yeah.
years ago. And when they built the new one, they only made it 100-foot long.
Yeah.
So you may see some specifications where it says 110-foot boom.
But it's only 100.
But it's only 100.
Now,
We think, we don't know that for sure. We had the boom down on it once. We changed these overhead cables at one point.
Yeah.
And we had the boom down, and I never thought to measure it. Well, I didn't measure that, I have no idea.
So, and all this is going into, how many motors are rotating, I mean, and what does it run on? Tell us.
Diesel, they're diesel.
It's pure diesel?
Well, they're diesel electric.
When you say, what's diesel electric mean?
Tell them what diesel electric is.
Well,
You're the
A
electrician.
diesel electric is a generator powered by a diesel engine, making electrical current.
It's just like your railroad trains coming up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But originally, this one was powered with a 3-cylinder engine. That was the hoist and drag only. So it was diesel powered on the hoist and drag.
That would have been the page motor.
Page
The
motor.
Yeah,
the
that's
old
the page
original page motor.
Uh-huh.
And footnote on that was, it was 3-cylinder with a 11-inch piston,
11-inch bore, 13-inch stroke.
but it only developed about 73 horsepower per cylinder. So that old Page engine was only about 210 horsepower at 400 RPM.
Yeah, 400 RPM was the max, which is a car idles at 600 RPM.
So how much torque, you're looking for torque?
Very
Yeah,
much.
had a big flywheel on
It
it.
had about a 6-foot flywheel on it.
Okay.
And probably the most unique thing about the whole thing was you started it on air. You would build your air pressure up, and then you would,
Pop the clutch?
well, no, you would do the compression release,
Uh-huh.
and it would also engage, close the valves, in other words, so you put air on the pistons and you started this
It's
thing
spinning,
rotating.
yeah.
And you ran it as far as you had air, and you would shove the compression release and get it to fire.
If it fired.
That's amazing.
I
That's
called
amazing.
it a lot of things other than unique. Because it didn't start very well a lot of times.
Did it?
Is the engine still
I'm
in
not
this?
gonna touch that.
Is the
Okay.
engine still in this machine?
No, not the original.
Now here you can see it above the pit where it would be pulling over but not, right?
Right, right.
And that's a Wilkinson photo.
Yeah, this would be your spoil valve over here.
Yeah.
So you were digging in a hole that was already a pit from coal?
It was coal dumps, strip pit dumps, and we leveled the dumps, and then we would go back through it and remove up to 35 feet of that to get down to the coal seam.
Because the coal lives below the clay in a normal pit, no?
No, well, the fire clay is right below the coal seam.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
immediately below it. Okay.
Well, looky here.
Yeah. That's the piston.
And there's our collections manager, Ron Pommier. How much did that piston weigh? It's back here on display.
It's actually made of steel.
It's steel.
Most pistons are made of aluminum. I would say it weighs 200 pounds, wouldn't you? Somewhere in that area.
And did it blow while it was running? I mean, that hole in the top of the piston, did it blow?
That's something to do with the
That's-
combustion.
yeah.
That's there intentionally. That, apparently it sprays diesel in there, and that's
That's
maybe a
the
compression.
chamber, yes, the chamber where the injector blew the fuel in, and that
Yeah.
caused it to combust in that piston and then start the combustion in the cylinder.
You mean that's supposed to be there? That
Yeah,
was there when it was
yeah.
operating,
Yeah,
a
that's a
hole in the
good,
top of the piston?
that's a good piston.
Yeah, that's a good piston.
Kind of a pre-chamber. It's where it
Right.
spritz of
I've
diesel.
never seen anything like it. I mean, it's a unique design.
So how much,
And that's Page's design, that's the
Right.
engineer Page's design.
Right.
you know how much you could move in one day?
I do.
You got it written
Glad
down.
you asked me that. It would move 6 yards or 9 tons per bucket, about 1 bucket per minute. That would be 540 tons per hour or 4,320 tons for an 8-hour shift, which would be about 270 dump truck loads.
For an 8-hour shift,
Yes,
270 dump trucks.
yes.
And you were digging the clay and the overburden as well?
Just the overburden.
Just the
You-
overburden.
And who was taking the clay?
We came back later and the clay was real hard. You had to rip it, stack it, and then we used an excavator and loaded that on dump trucks and then hauled it to the plant. So,
What, now the cable, you talked about replacing that. What kind of, how big a cable and what?
The hoist cables,
Let's go back, I'll go
okay.
back here.
yeah, that's this cable.
This
the
cable on
hoist-
the bucket?
That's the
Yeah.
hoist cable. That particular one was 1.25 inches by 245 foot long. The drag cable, which you can't see,
That,
but
the
it's
drag
the
cable.
one that's pulling in vertical
Yeah, it
into
would be
the
from
front.
here.
Underneath there, yeah.
Was 1.5 inch cable, and it was 150 foot long. And then showing the jockey cable, that's what we talked about earlier. No, the jockey, yes,
This one here?
yeah.
Okay.
That one was 1 inch and 32 foot long.
Yeah.
You know, it sounds like it's not thick enough for some reason to me. It's like,
Well, they had a lot of a rated lifting on that.
Yeah.
so
That
they knew
was-
what they were
yes.
doing, obviously.
Yes.
Now, wasn't there chain involved here
Yeah,
somewhere?
on the bucket, yeah.
What, now how big's the chain? Is that?
It was ship anchor chain.
Yeah, they're big.
Oh,
So
that's
if
big.
you've ever seen a big ship throw its anchor over to the side, that's what we used to, because it was a lot of abrasion. I mean, it was always dragging in the rocks or in the dirt, and so it would wear thin. And so the thicker, the heavier, the better. We would put on that. on the
Okay,
bucket.
how, did you have to change the chain very often?
No, you could go
No.
probably 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I say, again, we're not digging in any rock or anything.
Yeah, you're in clay.
Real abrasive.
Now, what about daily, we mentioned having a welder around, but what kind of oiling and lubrication and all that kind of stuff did you have to do to keep it going inside?
Mostly just gun grease for the, got bushings on all the shafts, which we don't have any pictures of any of that. And,
Most of the boom stuff out on the point, which is the end,
Yeah.
was all greased from inside the house.
Yeah, there was a pipe.
And there were small pipes They run the full length of that boom, 100 foot
Oh,
up
really?
there.
So they ran right up the boom and greased it right on the
So
end
you
where
would
it's
sit down there and you would grease it in the house, but you could grease the point shev and everything on the very top end.
Now, how about, did it need grease here and this, up here?
Yeah.
The same
That-
thing?
No, there wasn't a pulley
No,
there.
that doesn't
No, there
move.
wasn't
The only
any pulley.
time that moves is if you're raising or lowering the boom, which we.
But it just runs over a,
Well, those don't move.
okay.
Did you have a guy there that was an oiler doing all this, or did you guys do this
Yeah,
yourself?
the operator did it. Normally you would grease all the machine inside and operate 4 hours and then grease everything again. And then, you know, so,
How long did it take to grease everything?
not 15 or 20 minutes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, so that wasn't bad.
And then the dollies, you had to do the dollies every third day. Now, that took a while.
You're talking about the turntable?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Do you remember how many dollies there were? Like 90 or something like that?
Yeah, no, I don't think there was that many, but there were.
You're talking wheels.
Yeah,
Wheels.
little wheels that it turns on.
Yeah, I don't know,
There was a lot-
50 or 60 for
Yeah, there was a
sure.
lot of them. They didn't take much grease, but,
You had to keep it lube.
But each
Yeah.
one had a greaser, yes.
and then, on that picture,
Go
yeah,
back. I'm sorry.
right in this area was a 6-cylinder Cummins motor that powered the generator later on in life.
Later on in
Yeah.
life.
So we had
What'd
a
that run on?
diesel.
Diesel.
It was a engine like in a semi.
And where did you get your diesel? Was there a truck pulling up every day or?
I had a tank down there. And that thing would only burn about 100 gallons a day between the two engines.
So
So,
you did fine.
so it's only, at today's
Tell 'em-
prices would only be $300 a day
Tell
for
them,
fuel.
tell them the reason for the drag line, how efficient it was compared to trying to do it with scrapers or dozers.
Oh, yeah, you couldn't, you know, some mines, they try to mine with bulldozers and scrapers and move all this overburden, but you can't come close to doing it as efficiently as.
Mr. Page invented that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they're still being used. You know, that's 100 years.
Yeah.
They're using the same design.
When I worked
Well, that particular machine, if I'm not mistaken, is a 1923. So that'd make it 102 years
Yeah.
old.
Yeah, I don't know what year it was.
Wow, so it was old when you were using it.
Oh,
it's-
yeah.
It's been old for a long time.
There's the Piston again, and there's J.O. Farrell had volunteered out all the time.
Yeah, because that piston is heavy.
Yeah,
I knew I wasn't gonna try to look at it myself.
there it is. We have it here.
This is a car piston
Display.
next
Yeah,
to it.
tell us about that. What do we have different here?
Well, this is a 427 Ford car piston, which is a big motor, so that's a big piston for a car. This is a lawnmower piston. It says riding lawnmower. So, but they're basically the same. This piston has more rings involved than the smaller pistons, but other than that, that's really about the only difference.
These are just parts,
Not sure what that
and
is.
it's a glove. I don't know parts that when they were taking it apart, they took some pictures of.
Now, that looks like some pins maybe that come,
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure what that is.
Yeah,
He just wanted
probably.
to show the size of some of the like those pins.
Uh-huh.
So he just.
Oh, yeah, I used the glove for
Just
reference.
to show how big.
I see.
There's some more, and there's the
Penetrating.
penetrating oil
Well,
that they
those
used to
are-
get them
those
out of
are
there.
the- Those are the pins at the bottom of the boom.
Yeah, that
Okay,
may
so
be-
they would be at the boom, because they were taking the boom off.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And there's their working on it,
It's like
taking
they're
it
trying to
apart.
get the shoes off.
Got the shoes on the platforms there.
Uh-huh, crimped up.
This is Buck Stansberry.
I've heard of him. I've heard people talk about him. I never met him, obviously. but-
Yeah, we got a little bit of a bio here. He used to work on, he worked into his 80s apparently, running the drag line for the Wilkinson coal company. Wendell has a quote, he's absolute best employee we ever had, dedicated, worked hard, honest, and everything you would want, plus just a great individual, a great man. So We'll give him some tribute for the years he put in. He probably had some DNA on that. Okay, there's Buck in the, that's probably the oldest picture we got.
1959, it says.
He's in the cab there running it.
So did you run that all year long in any weather or just certain times of the year?
We just used it, maybe 3 months out of the year.
Started in the spring, and then however long that ran into,
Yeah.
to uncover enough clay for what we needed to do to build a stockpile for the
Okay,
next year.
It was all built on getting as much clay as you need, not,
Right.
you didn't sell it to other
We
people or
don't,
do anything.
and we didn't, we usually didn't dig more than we needed,
Yeah.
because we didn't wanna have to waste a bunch, let the water take it, and then reclaim it from the water again, so typically we wanna uncover
Yeah.
what we needed.
Did you work 7 days a week? Because
Yeah.
otherwise,
Yeah.
over the weekend, it would fill up.
Yes.
Right.
They
Yeah, we
work,
worked.
if you can't hear back there, they asked him, did they work 7 days a week? He said, yes. The rationale Wayne's saying is if you don't work on the weekend, it fills up with water again, and you gotta get the water out.
True.
Yeah.
More questions, yeah.
There's a place called Clay, what was it, Dicky Clay Pits over here east of town.
Yeah.
Was that the clay that was used?
Yeah.
Well, that was one of the
different-
That
four
was one of
types.
them.
Pardon?
That was one of the four types.
Yeah.
Okay,
Of
so
clay that
there
was
really was a
used.
Dicky Clay
Oh,
pit.
yeah.
That was right north of the Rock and K.
Yeah,
We did it,
right.
Yeah.
That's what
That
I'm
was
talking
a
about.
shale material that we used, our brown shale material.
Okay.
And who dug that?
We did.
With
Yeah.
this?
No.
Oh, with
No, this always stayed.
what did you dig that with?
We used a scraper and bulldozers
Okay.
on most.
So you went
all-
back into the pits that had already been dug and scraped it off and bulldozed it out?
Well, no, this was all new material at the Rock and K.
Oh, okay.
It was burdened down.
So you took the overburden off and went
Right.
down and got the clay?
Right. It was actually pretty easy, the one at the Rock and K, only had to move about.
Did you
5
get
foot.
some coal to sell in
No,
there too?
no, there was no coal there. It was just all brown shale.
These are some shots from the drone by Anselmi from, he used to be at the college. I think he's got his own company now. There's taken apart, getting it ready to move it.
Got the beams under it, I see. I haven't
Yeah.
seen these pictures.
There's another shot of the boom out there, getting ready to go. It's a nice picture. Makes you want to go swimming today.
There's the boom not being measured.
What
Yeah.
Yeah,
We can measure it
you
before
can
they put
measure
it back.
pretty easy
We
there.
can measure it now, ain't
Yeah.
it?
What kind of equipment
They
was
did. It's
used to
100
take
foot.
that boom down?
They used a crane to take it
Another
down.
big crane that.
That you saw on the truck?
There was actually a winch up there that we had it down, used a winch to let it down, and then we changed all the overhead cables on it once.
And
But
it
they
is
chose
100
to-
foot. It is, they did measure it, it's 100 foot.
Is it 100, okay?
And there, we're back to the beginning, and where we are in Cherokee County.
Back to what I mentioned earlier about this material being so porous and water going through it. If you take the elevation of this water, that water, it'll all be the same. It all levels out.
So that's like hydraulic, or what do you
Yeah,
call
it
it?
just,
What do you
it
call
runs
it?
underground and it equals,
It equals itself,
yeah.
okay? That's a good, interesting
Yeah.
point. Anybody else have any other comments or questions?
I was interested in the different kinds of clay. Can you run them down real quick? What are you talking, this is a certain kind of clay
This
here.
was a fire clay. It's a gray, real hard, you have to rip it with bulldozers and so on and so forth. The Rock and K, which is probably most people here know, the pits north of it, it was a brown shale. It was also fairly hard. You had to rip it, load it with, we used an excavator or sometimes a high loader. Then there was a pit east of Frontenac that we called either the Green Pit or Zimmerman, and that I assume was people's names. I know Zimmerman was the name of an owner. It was a fire clay that actually didn't make fire clay. In other words, when whatever happened to cause all this, this clay was multicolored. It would be yellow. It actually has some red in it, as red as on that flag, some purple in it, and so on and so forth. That was called T-bow underclay, if I remember right. And then one of the other problematic places was north of Pit Plastic, and that was called the Gumbo Pit. And
But
it
this
was
thinks
a-
this is the most desirable kind of clay.
No, they had to have all four of them.
They had them all, oh, they used them all.
Each clay did something for the pipe or countered something that the other clay did bad, or, so you had to have the right combination.
So you mixed them all together to make pipe?
Right, we built stockpile in layers,
Mhm.
and so when you hauled out of that stockpile, the clays, you had all four clays, you hauled out of there, so they were pre-mixed.
So each one of these clays lived on a different level.
Right, more or
I
less,
mean,
yeah.
You'd have to go down 60 feet. to
Each
get
clay was
this-
on a different level.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I'm still kind of missing something here. So the clay you were mining here lives under a layer of coal.
Right.
Which was already mined.
Right,
So did you go to the bottom of a coal strip pit?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
And strip away, you still
Yeah.
have to strip away some
The next 4
overburden?
foot.
yeah. See, these are
So
all
there was an
actually-
overburden between the clay that was gone.
The spoils that they had taken away when they got the original coal seam was laying back on this layer.
Oh, so they.
So then we
Yeah.
went back in and
Okay.
uncovered this
Yeah.
layer
Okay.
and got back down to this seam.
Yeah.
Now, the funny thing about it, and Teddy will
Because you
tell
were
you.
supposed to put it back, and not all
Not
Well,
them, they were.
pits got their overburden put back.
True.
Right,
True.
right.
But
But that was the case here.
But in this case, you had to remove the overburden that they took out
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
and put back
yeah,
to reach the clay that was living below the coal that they took.
yeah.
And that particular clay was so hard that you didn't have to see it. It could be covered with water,
Yeah,
and you could drop the dragline bucket in it, and it would go down on this hard layer of clay, and you drug everything you could off of that before you even had to take the water off of it, because you knew you were down on that layer.
Well, what's this layer? I just built a house near Girard, and when they excavated for the basement, they had 2.5, 3 feet of topsoil, and then there was an obvious layer of clay,
Right.
3 feet down.
Mhm.
What is that clay that is shallow at Girard? Is it one of the 4 types of clay that was
Possibly
used?
Possibly could
the
have been.
gumbo clay is something that you find a lot of around here. It's just a brownish, light brown,
Yeah.
sticky
Yeah.
clay.
And it doesn't grow crops very well.
No,
And
no.
it doesn't perk. It doesn't perk. I mean,
Right.
that's
No,
why
you
there's a
know,
layer.
it's not your topsoil. I have a follow-up on Mr. Wallace's question. What about the brick factories around here? What kind of clay were they using? All these brick factories that we had.
They probably didn't need the mix that we needed for pipe.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, to extrude and hold the shape of a hollow pipe
Yeah,
was harder to do
Than a
than
solid
just,
brick.
than just
Yeah.
squirting out a square brick.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a different kind of clay. And then they vitrified the way they cooked it.
Well, they were probably all fired about the same temperature.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what the word vitrified means? That they-
Turn into glass.
Yeah, glass, so it was harder. I
So,
mean, wasn't the brick they used in the streets vitrified?
Mhm.
Yeah,
so they melted it so that the clay actually melted, and
Before it run in a slump, off of the slump,
Yeah.
then it was cooled and kept its shape. But it was close.
Do you remember what temperature they cooked the pipe at? 1500 or something?
1975 or 85. was
I
the
know,
magic number.
I know it was hot when we cooked it out of Pittsburgh pottery.
Yeah.
little side story. Was it Strimmel who used to be anybody here Catholic from St. Mary's, old Monsignor? Do you remember, was it Strimmel? Monsignor Strimmel used to, Vic Matrowsey, who was my boss at the pottery, said Strimmel used to bring adolescents down there and have them, they pull that little brick where you can look in that fire and it's just zzz, it's glowing. He said, now that's what hell looks like, boy. He said they're trying to turn them around before they got too far up the line. But yeah, it was. We used to go in my site. I worked at the pottery, and they had orders. You know, we got to fill those orders, and you had to let those kilns cool. Well, sometimes they weren't that cool, so we had to take off. You had a necklace, any change in your pockets, you had to get that gone because you've been there very long. You're burning. It catch the metal and burn it into you. So it was hot. It was hot. Yeah. Any other questions we have for these informed men? Well, I want to thank you. I think Phyllis has a few things to say, but let's give him a big hand. Yeah. Thank you. Well done.
Machine.
Okay, well, I just wanted to be sure, I wasn't sure. Did anyone here work on the page? Anyone out here in the crowd?
There's Pat Walden sitting there, he helped me sometimes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he helped a few times on some of the
How do you
repaving.
raise the house above the tub when we change the rollers and the rails?
Well, I
Jacked it
hooked
up.
my,
Jacked it
Here,
up,
here, talk
jacked
right
it
here.
up
Here,
off
here's
of the
mine.
ground,
You can talk.
took
We,
ribbon on all four corners and just jacked it up.
yeah, we just jacked it up. Were you in on that, Pat? Yeah, Pat and Jim Evans did that. Basically had some huge hydraulic cylinders and,
You know what those cylinders was for? I talked to Dave Kimry, and them cylinders was off the landing gear of a B-52 bomber.
really, I'll be darned. They were big cylinders. Anyway, we jacked it up and cribbed it up, and then on top of the center pin, which is right in the center of the tub, there's a big nut. And you loosen that nut, and that lets that tub droop down, and that's how we were able to get the dollies and the bands that held the dollies out. So, yeah, it was pretty comical. We had a really small excavator that you could almost haul in the back of your pickup. And Jim Evans, the guy that was helping Pat, he was a pretty ingenious character. He plumbed those cylinders into that excavator. And that excavator had controls about that tall on a little bitty tiny thing. The bucket was about that square. Pat said, take her up, Evans, and Evans would move that little tiny lever and that dragline would raise up on one corner. And, yeah, then it would add cribbing to it, and they'd go around the other side and do the same thing. So, yeah, that was one of the major
We changed the
repairs that we did.
swing pinion too. You had to go in there and,
Pat and another guy, Clayton Spencer, who Clayton was running the machine at that time, the swing pinion went bad, which the pinion is down in the tub, and it's a nasty, nasty area to work, greasy, and raccoons live down there. And anyway, Clayton had ran a drag line for Mackie Clemens. So him and Pat, I sent them down there to put this swing gear. Yeah, they knew all about it, no problem. So I came back later in the day, and I crawled down in the tub, and I said, how you boys doing? They said, we got her all on, everything good. And I looked at it and I said, there's only one problem, it's on upside down. So I had to pull the whole thing off and start all over. So, yeah, that was a...
yeah, you had to crawl in there in that grease. And you had to put it on a jack. It was heavy.
Yeah, it was
wasn't
heavy.
You just lift it up there. You had to line it up just right. Well,
Yeah.
it was beveled and we put it on the wrong way.
And
we couldn't get it on the right way.
the curious part about it, it was always difficult to put on, and that particular time, it just went right on. It wanted to go on, except that it was upside down. So.
Okay, any other questions, anything for these two gentlemen? A couple of things I want to mention. JT, you touched on this, but we do want to thank David Wallace. He comes to all of our programs, and not just ours. He goes all over the county and creates beautiful videos, and you can follow him on YouTube, and you'll learn a lot of history and great things about the area. So it's Easy Dave on YouTube, and we always try to put a link on our our Facebook page, Miners Hall Museum. So another thing, for those of you that don't know, behind the museum we have an area where we call it coal camp, and we have some murals which are kind of replicas of what might have been back there in the area. But we have several pieces of equipment, and one of which is an Inslee dragline. It's a very small one, and Ted knows all about that. You're welcome to go out there and look. That's, of course, open 24/7. But we have signage. We just haven't gotten it out there yet. So it's in our entryway. So if you want to read more about the little Inslee or the other equipment out there, there's a huge bucket, and Wendell Wilkinson also donated that large bucket out there. But all the signage is in the front entryway now. You could read it as you're going out and then go out there and look. And the Wilkinson family will now have 3 pieces of equipment. They like to say that they're kind of tying the north end of the coal fields to the south end. They'll have this one here at kind of the north end. They have a piece of equipment at Crawford County Museum in Pittsburgh, and they also have one that they have donated to Big Brutus. So you can see a piece of equipment from the Wilkinson Coal Company at all 3 of those locations. So that's quite a bit of dedication to donate all of that and to assist with that. And as I said, that they're spending a lot of money in addition to that to make this happen, and we appreciate that. So another thing, I'm always fundraising. This TV, while it's a big screen TV, we have been donated by Broadway Electronics, who are now no longer in business, a 7-foot screen, which we have that, which we intend to go in the center of our stage, which will make our future programs absolutely wonderful. We are fundraising for the projector, and we're $300 away from getting that projector. So, so if anybody wants to help us at the next program, we can have the projector and the screen hung. Feel free to make a donation in any amount to help us towards that goal. Next week we're going to have another program. Typically there's one a month. Just coincidentally, this one's the end of July, the other one's the first week in August. It's going to be about, let's see, the name of it is Southeast Kansas Flora and Fauna, but it's going to be in relation to our wildflower meadow that's going to be placed at the Dragline Park. So it'll be interesting to see all of that. And she's going to have live animals and a lot of things. So you want to spread the word about that. And if you have grandchildren, they might be interested, bring them to the program also. So I think that's everything. We are so grateful that all of you came. All these new faces is wonderful. We like seeing you all. You're welcome to stay and browse through the museum. Be sure, I know, the Page family. Through the world of our social media now, we have made connection with John Page's descendants, so like grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and they're the ones that have donated a lot of this beautiful Page equipment. There's some beautiful plaques and key fobs and just all kinds of information, and as well as booklets and information about the Page. So we are so happy to have made a connection with them, and they intend to be here when we get ready for the dedication of the Page. But you're welcome to go back there. And Dolores, who I mentioned was our volunteer today, when I asked how fast the Page walked, she went back there. She knew. She had read it in one of those books, and I've forgotten how many feet, but she determined if it just kept walking, it would go 1/5 of a mile an hour. Is what it told how many feet per whatever per minute. So
6 to 7 feet, 3 steps per minute.
Say it again.
6 to 7 feet, the length of a step, and then it averaged about 3 steps per minute.
3 steps per minute, and each step was 6 to 7 feet. Yeah, so 20. Yeah.
20 feet a minute, 21 foot a minute.
Yeah, so anyway, so there's a lot of information back there if you really want some, good statistics or you're interested in it. And part of our goal, the John Perolo Foundation that donated to us, that's an education foundation, and that was part of their requirements when they made the donation to us to help with this move, is they want it to be an educational piece. So we intend, once it's moved here, that it's going to be accessible like for students, and they'll be able to learn a lot about this equipment and that era. So it will be, and we'll be having programs out there. We're going to have a pavilion where we can hold programs and such out there. So it'll be a great education project. So anyone else, Christy, Linda, anybody got anything else that I think I've covered everything. We have refreshments and cookies back here on the back table. Please help yourself, and then like I say, you're welcome to browse all you'd like and look at our permanent exhibit or the special QE exhibit. And thank you all very much for coming.
Did you make
Good to see you. Have you seen the video online of the one? It's out the streets at 618. The guy goes in.